basically started when on this case, Chief Deputy Ronnie Whitworth received basically started that we possibly may have Chief Deputy Ronnie Whitworth received information. We responded to 110 Walden Street, Department A, where we did locate. We responded to 110 Walden Street, Department A, where we did locate a body. Also received information that a possible suspect. The Sheriff Department was also received information that the county deputies went out to that location located somewhere in the north part of the county. Deputies went out to during the time of him being taken into custody, so they did locate some property on his person. During the time of him being taken into custody, they did locate some property on his person that would belong to the victim. Was inside the residence in the front room and the living room, and he was bound and blinded. Was inside the residence in the front room and the living room. Also stabbed. And he was bound and blindfolded. As far as cause of death, stabbed. We're waiting on the autopsy, should be performed today. As far as cause of death, we're waiting on the autopsy, should be. The victim has been identified as James Matthew Hill, age 33. Victim has been identified as James Matthew Hill, age 33, 110 Walden Street. Last night, about 10:58, Enterprise Police Department. Last night, charged David Montiel Cunningham, Enterprise Police 20, arrested and charged David Montiel Cunningham, age 20, suspect, Alabama, refused to talk to detectives and was transported to the Coffee County Jail after the suspect refused to talk to detectives and was transported to the Coffee County. At this time, I would like to thank Chief Deputy Whitworth. At this time, I would like to thank that assisted us in this investigation and his sheriff able to close this rather quickly. That assisted us in this investigation of this nature is able to close this rather quickly. You know, I'll say this was a very brutal nature murder. You know, I'll say this was a very brutal murder. The detectives, I want to commend my detective division, Detective Captain Spence. I want to. They were out all night. Me and my processing detective division worked for Captain Spence. Still working back again this morning. They were out all night. Processing evidence, collecting evidence. Still working, still actively. You know, just because we have somebody suspect because this case is still actively. You know, just because we have somebody suspect. I want to thank District Attorney's Office, Tom Anderson, for their help. They were out there last night with us. And District Attorney's Office, Tom Anderson, for their help. They were out there last night with us. We appreciate that. The suspect did have his preliminary hearing this morning, and I'm gonna, the suspect did have.
First thing is, this offense is a capital murder charge, and that is a murder predicated or committed during the course of a robbery in the first degree, and that would be a robbery by force using a deadly weapon or dangerous instrument. We believe that instrument to be a knife. Chief told you the circumstances that the victim was found in blindfolded, and that there was also property on the suspect when he was apprehended. I would like to thank the Sheriff's Office for their tireless efforts, and also the Police Department in quickly processing the scene as well as they can, as thoroughly as they can, in apprehending the suspect as quickly as they did, and keeping the folks of this circuit safe from this defendant. Now, a capital murder charge brings with it, if convicted, two possible forms of punishment. One being life in prison without the possibility of parole, and the other would be the death penalty. It is the only offense charged under law where a defendant can receive an order of no bond. As Chief Jones just mentioned, there was an initial appearance held this morning at 9:30 before Judge Chris Kaminsky, District Judge for Coffee County. And after argument from Assistant DA Josh Wilson, no bond was ordered in this case. So the defendant will be held without bond pending disposition of this matter. Cases like this take longer in general nature to make their way through the system because of the possible forms of punishment and because of the severity and the magnitude of these types of cases. There's going to be a lot of forensics involved in this, and that process has already been started. And it's not easy for a prosecutor to look at a case, and it should never be easy for a prosecutor to look at a case and say, I'm going to ask for the death penalty. Because if you wake up and you immediately know you're going to ask for the death penalty, I think maybe you can lose vision. But I've thought about this long and hard, and the facts and circumstance of this, I have not got to the juncture in the case to formally file paperwork stating so, but I having said that, I guess we'll open the floor to any comments or questions, or maybe you want to say anything. There has been a preliminary hearing requested in this case.
March
For March 11th. That is a probable cause hearing where his counsel will seek for the state to tender witnesses to show that probable cause exists for the charge of the offense and the suspect being the proper one. So having said that.
And that'll be signed to lawyers, right?
Neighbors last night said that the suspect and the victim lived together. Do we have any kind of motive, and is the weapon or the knife itself, you believe, responsible? Has that been recovered?
Well, from what we've learned so far, that we know they have lived together, but we don't know how long they have lived together. Whether that was been a short period of time or an extended period of time. But we did recover a knife last night. I'm sure we'll determine with forensic science determine that is the murder weapon or not.
Is there any familiar relations between the two individuals?
From talking to people, they were friends. That's all. That's all we're getting right now.
They were living together.
They were living together. Mhm.
Can you say what kind of property was found on the suspect of the victim?
Well, for the sake of the investigation in the court, we really don't want to get into that right now, but it was something that tied him back to the victim.
Have you ever responded to domestic calls at that particular location?
No, we've had loud noise calls and things of that nature, but nothing serious.
So no motive at this point? You don't have a motive at this point, and the suspect is not talking?
Not really saying right now. No, and the suspect, he refused to answer questions.
And I think that anytime you find another person's property on a deceased individual, you can reasonably infer that at least one of the motives is pecuniary gain.
Can you say what room the victim was found in?
Yeah, I believe I said in the living room.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, in the front room.
What's the age of the deceased?
He's 33 years old, and the suspect is 20. And we'll have a press release that pretty much covers what we talked about today and a picture of the suspect. We'll give you that one. Ability to give that.
As a veteran law enforcement officer you worked in Montgomery, how would you describe the scene if you had to put it into terms for laymen, as far as the nature of it?
Well, it's hard for me, Mike, because, I've seen a lot of terrible scenes in my career, and, in terms, it was a very brutal murder. He was stabbed numerous times, tied up, and things of that nature. I'll just say, it was one of the ones I've seen before, that's fairly, is brutal.
You said that you received a call about the possibility of someone having been in this situation. Does that mean that can you say if the person had been dead for longer before you received the information?
We don't really know. We're looking into that now. Hopefully forensics can give us a better timeline on that. I think it may have happened the day before, right now, possibly, but that's not 100%.
Where's the suspect from initially? Is he from Coffee County, or is he?
He's been around here. We've in Enterprise. He's lived at several different addresses. And,
Is he a drifter?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you that.
Does he have a criminal history?
He's not been convicted of any prior criminal offense. I will say that he was out on bond at the time of this offense for possession of controlled substance charge.
Where was he found, Chief Deputy Whitworth? Where did you find